She's got to be on the box. She's so silly. These are literally deliveries I just got for my new foster boy. So, the rescue I'm working with now is based out of Brooklyn, New York. So we're doing some city style, which is interesting. All right, let's go meet my new foster boy. That's Max. Everybody knows Max. Don't mind my mess. That's Ziggy, my old man. Ciara up there, who has an ear infection. Poor cat. But we got her on some doxycycline. And she's doing better. I hear him in here. Sorry it's dark, but we're going into the bathroom. Where are you, Ollie? Hi, bud. Oh, careful, babe. Hi. Can he say hi? Silly boy. Hi. What you doing? Oh, Ollie's a new foster boy. Ollie has had a very tough time. He was in here doing something. He made it. So I set him up in my bathroom. Okay, babes. So this is a little couch, of course. You know, like a soft bed. Oh, that's what he's kicking around. He is so adorable, and he's so affectionate. He's had such a tough time, too. This poor cat. I feel so sorry for the kitties. Oh, gosh. But he's eating today, which is good. I'm sorry I'm bringing you in my bathroom, but that's where I have my foster boy. He's only temporarily in the bathroom. I let him out a little earlier today. He's a little feisty, but he's very high-strung. He's super stressed. So he's going to be in here decompressing for a while. Right, Bob? Yeah, you like boxes? We're going to have to empty that one for you. Okay? No, don't give me that. Thank you. Silly guy. You're into everything, huh? He's only 2 years old. He's a young male. He's super cute. He had a very, very rough beginning after he was rescued off the street. And, oh my goodness, this poor cat. Sometimes fosters don't really work out too well for cats, and it's very sad. Because that's how I ended up with my guys, to be honest with you. They, the fosters they were in, things didn't work out well. They weren't the right types of fosters, and people are very, very mean, you know. So, hi, how you doing, GGRAA? Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. We're just talking about my recent foster cat that I took in on Saturday. My channel, I mostly do a lot of stuff about animals. Ferals, mainly my main rescue situation. That's another foster. He is a failure. I failed on him. He's staying with me. That's my buddy. He was an adopted. I just adopted him. He was in, same thing with him. He was in some really tough situations in foster, and it's so sad to hear their stories. I have to sometimes, hi, home 2026, how are ya? Thanks for coming in. We're just chit-chatting. I took in a new foster off the, from a rescue out in Brooklyn, New York. So we're working together to try and get this poor guy, you know, some help. And he's decompressing right now in my extremely large bathroom. He's very comfortable in there. I put some toys in there for him. And it's so sad. I can't, it breaks my heart to see what these poor animals go through. And then, you know, here in New York, we get some pretty bad weather. Like, this winter was horrible. We had blizzard after blizzard, snow on top of snow. And it's like, there's only so much one person can really do, to be honest with you. I'm only one person, you know, and it's trying to gather people together to cooperate with one another. It's very hard. I had the worst experience volunteering in the Happy Cat Sanctuary warehouse when this the fire happened on March 31st, 2025, and we lost Christopher Arsenault, and we lost the Happy Cat Sanctuary. You know, my experiences in that with that situation were terrible. I'm literally traumatized for life over it. But I keep on striding on. You know, I keep on going when it comes to rescue. I do as much as I possibly can. Like, I just put up a post on my Facebook telling people, you know, you don't always just have to donate money or time or adopt or foster. You know, you can also, if you just share the rescue pages stuff onto your platforms and things like that, it helps the animals as well. People don't realize that networking with one another is actually very good. It's a good source of communication when it comes to, you know, some people can't financially afford to do all the, you know, as much as they would really want to do. I know I wish I could afford to do way more. I wish I could have my own big rescue where I can rescue all kinds of animals, you know, cats, dogs, frogs, lizards, turtles, whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, it's expensive here on the island, and it's very hard to do, you know. And you get people, of course, you know, every rescuers need to realize too, you're gonna get haters no matter what. You're gonna get people who aren't gonna like what you're doing, whether you sneezed the wrong way or you did something odd, you know. But my experiences with Happy Cat Sanctuary, I Christopher Arsenault right now is no doubt rolling in his, well, I can't say grave because he was cremated, but he's like flipping around in those ashes, to be quite honest with you. And it's very sad to see what happened. They just moved once again from one area to another, from one town to the next. Like the amount of cats that were on the property at Happy Cat Sanctuary was a lot. There were a lot of cats. There was well over 500 cats on that property. I saw so many come and go. The 8 weeks that I spent in that warehouse, like one minute you're there, you know, and I was there every day, so I saw a lot. I saw a lot of cats coming in and out, and uh, it was just very sad. You know, Christopher wouldn't have wanted that for his cats. You know, he wanted them to go upstate to this big, beautiful 30-acre property, 33 acres, I believe he had up there. You know, now it's just like, now they're sitting in some, they were in an office. They went from the warehouse to an office space, now to wherever they are now. It's just terrible. And then they took in some cats that there was we had some very, very bad weather here on Long Island. A tree actually fell on a woman's house who rescued animals. She had about 30 cats in her home. That's a lot. I have my limit, you know. If it's a desperate situation, okay, I'll foster. You know what I'm saying? But my personal amount of cats that I have is my personal amount, and it's nowhere's near even 10 cats. I don't even have 10 cats. Like, some people have like 30 or 40 in their home because they're trying to save them. They're trying to help them. It's so difficult with cats because we have such a very bad feral problem here on Long Island. And I know in other states there's a very bad problem with, you know, feral cats. You know, you have limited resources, limited access. You know, people aren't, you know, after what happened at Happy Cat, people are, you know, reluctant to donate, you know, even donate their time. They're reluctant on donating their money, their time, and everything else. And it's getting really rough. It's getting even a lot harder now than it was. I had friends contacting me constantly. Please, can you help me? Can you help me find a foster? Can you help me find this? Is there any, can you take, I'm like, I cannot take no more. My one foster boy I'm fostering now. That's it for me for a while. You know, and people have been very generous, though, I must say. New York City is a lot different than Long Island. Some of the people that are involved in, I forgot what it's called. That's not New Hyde Park. It's Park Slope in Brooklyn, New York. Some of these people are absolutely amazing. I've gotten boxes of stuff here for. I gotta clear the boxes out, but of course, cats, they just want to be in the box, whether it has stuff in it or not. So that's kind of the way it is. But yeah. So I mean, it's a tough situation what we're going through. And with all the drama going on with the rescue community here on Long Island, it's nothing but drama and drama and drama. It's just like sad. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, excuse my language, but like, what is wrong? Why can't you come together as a community? In the beginning, when Happy Cat first happened, the community came together. People were, and then all of a sudden, like on day 3, the crap just hit the fan and people were just like cursing other rescuers out. They didn't want them on the property, calling them all kinds of names and this and that. And it just turned into bedlam. And it's such a sin. Because these little voiceless animals that don't deserve that, they're terrorized as it is. And they didn't deserve to. I'm just flabbergasted. I think I'm still in shell shock. It has taken me quite some time to even really talk about my experiences at the warehouse with Happy Cat Sanctuary. I don't know. I've spoken to so many people about it, even just friends, just chit-chatting about it. The amount of anger and stress I get, I'm literally traumatized over what happened. And it's not just what happened being that they had that, the fire happened and it killed Christopher and over 150 cats. It's the fact of what happened afterwards where I'm completely traumatized. Like, people are just horrible. I'm sorry, but even people who spearheaded this whole thing, talking about how, basically lied to the general public, and it's just like, you gotta be kidding me. You're lying. You're sitting here lying, saying that you need X amount of dollars to redo this whole sanctuary, and you knew that day that was not even happening. That you were closing it. You knew. But yeah, you still ask people for money. And that's why I've seen so many comments, oh, I don't want to donate any money because, I don't know where it's going. And I don't know what's going on here. They don't want to donate to other rescues, which is very sad. And I get it. Times are tough. Trust me. I understand times are very, very tough. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that what happened and what was still going on. You got this person, suing people left and right for ridiculous reasons. Like, why are you suing poor people? What is wrong with you? You're just allowing other people to see your character, and as what we had said is true. You're going to sue poor people because I don't even know why, because you think you can. Filing a lawsuit for what she's filing this lawsuit for is just ridiculous. Sorry about that. I had to plug in my phone. I don't understand it. I really don't. And if you're really that low of a person where you're gonna sue poor people that have nothing, what do you think you're gonna get? You're not gonna get anything. You want to cease and desist? I'm sorry, but that's called the First Amendment. It's called freedom of speech. Yeah. Facebook and all these social media platforms, they're called freedom of speech social media platforms for a reason, because you're allowed to say whatever you want. You can't just turn around and sue everybody because they called you a name. If I sued everybody for the names that I've been called, I'd be a multi-billionaire right now. Like, come on now. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Because you don't belong there. This is what happens in rescue. It happens to everybody. And I've learned this through my years. I've been involved in rescue for over 15 years now. Physically being in facilities, whether it's being in the facilities or being out rescuing out in the streets or whatever. I feed 2 colonies at 5:30 in the morning every morning. I wanted to do a little live stream over there, but I can't because I don't want that where they are. I don't want the wrong person to find out where they are, and God forbid, I'd be devastated if something were to happen, and I just can't put them at risk. It's the same thing, like I wouldn't put a child at risk. I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't do it to an innocent animal that's got absolutely nobody. And no one cares. It's terrible. I'm just so broken by the rescue community and what goes on. Instead of bashing and beating people down and trying to sue them for what? You can't. Like it's flabbergasting what's going on right now. And like instead of coming together as like a normal human being would do and being a human being and being a good person, instead of walking away, like I was taught at a very young age that a true tough guy walks away. And when you walk away, to be honest with you, especially when people are blah 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 and running their mouths and calling your names, sometimes you feel a lot better about yourself, your situation, whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I mean, it's so flabbergasting. It's very sad. It's very sad. Like I'm still in a state of complete shock and completely traumatized from what I witnessed in that warehouse. You know, nobody. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest with you. Like I guess on the first day I was there when the SPCA was there. That's like it's the same thing as the ASPCA. It's just called the SPCA because it's Suffolk County. And like I was talking to the woman that was there, who was in she was part of the SPCA, and I'm watching, from a distance what's going on, how people are scooping litter boxes. You've got a cat here with a tag that says FELV, FIV, positive. And then you got maybe a couple in a row, say. You had a couple down below that were negative, or on the other side, negative. And then you got people cleaning these litter boxes with the same scooper. FIV is that now, if the cat is just FIV positive, you're fine. People get that very mixed up. FIV, when it comes to cats, is completely different. It's not contagious like people think. A cat that has FIV literally has to bite, and I mean hit an artery, and where blood is, you know what I mean? Like draw serious blood in order for the other cat to catch the virus, the FIV. FELV, that's a lot different. That is very highly contagious, and that cat needs to be in either a quarantine facility, a medical foster, or a foster that has FELV cats. There are treatments, things like that. Same as FIP, there's treatments for that as well. You don't just have to euthanize a cat that has FIV, or you don't have to be like, oh no, I'm going to keep it, hidden away in my home with my other cats that are negative FIV, when you can house them together. They can drink out of the same water dish. They can use the same litter box. Like I said, it takes a lot for another cat to transmit that to another cat, a negative cat, so to speak. Yes, is it better to keep FIVs all together? Of course it is. Of course it is. But yeah, the situation, so going back to the warehouse and the cross-contamination and the unsanitization of what I was witnessing and I was also screaming about. Don't get me wrong, I advocated so hard for these cats. Like, I would screaming and yelling, you need to, it, these cats need their own scoopers, and like, you've got to clean them before you go on to another cat. You can't just scoop this FELV positive cat and then go scoop another cat's box that has nothing, that is negative for everything. That is just common sense. Those are things that you easily learn when you first step into animal rescue or when you go into a facility. Those are things you learn. And when you got, when I would yell and scream about this, not yell and scream, I wasn't being nasty. I was trying my hardest to be as nice as I possibly could about the cross contamination that and the sanitization that needed to be addressed. That I have proof too. I have all kinds of messages and so forth from people that were in charge and such and such. Finally it was like, oh yeah, we're going to do all this sanitization. I said, oh gee, I've been yelling about this for days. I mean weeks, honestly. And oh, well, we discussed it now. Oh, because you discussed it, now you're going to do it? This shit is common sense. And not only, there's other things too, like there's so much involved. I just did a whole ASPCA, I guess you could say, like a test. I took a test for the ASPCA where it was a lot of reading. It took about 2.5 hours, not 2.5, about 2 hours. And it was a lot. And then the questions that they ask, and they do teach you and they tell you in these little seminars and all this writing. It was a lot of reading that I had to do. It tells you your proper sanitization while in a facility, in a rescue facility, whether it's cats, dogs, rabbits, birds, it don't matter. You have to do that protocol. And it's common sense. It's like if I had somebody in my house, like a human, and they were sick, I would want to sanitize my home, keep them in another room, basically. So, you know what I mean? It's really not, it's not that difficult. It's really not. It's a lot of common sense, but yet people still to this day don't have, I guess, the intelligence to decipher the fact that that is common sense. You got kittens, very rarely do they suffer from any type of kidney issues. Very rarely. If I had a kitten come to me very bloated, I would first think to myself, oh, this poor kitten is probably constipated. Yes, that can happen, especially with kittens. That's a common thing. But yeah, it's just a whole big nightmare that's going on in the rescue community. There's towards another county, Nassau County, there's a big thing with a house. I believe that from what I was reading, the people that were taking care of a whole colony of cats recently moved or was evicted. Now there's rescues out there. I'm going to post Virginia Scudder's and the Norfolk Country Kids stuff onto my posts, on my community posts here on YouTube. See if we could get her some help. They did trap and they are now neutering and spaying and neutering quite a few cats that were left behind. The community over there in that town, it's called Dix Hills, are they love the cats. So these cats will be TNR'd, which is trap, neuter, release, and they will be brought back to where they were, which is great because moving a colony is something that is not really, it's not recommended to do. Yeah, it's not recommended whatsoever because 9 times out of 10, the cats will find their way back. God forbid they get hurt, injured, killed by another animal, run over by a car, because all they're trying to do is, in their little innocent mind, is trying to find their way back to where they originally were from and their, surrounding areas that they're familiar with. They want to be in their own familiar place. They don't want to go to some strange place. It's very sad, but Yeah, so it's craziness going on. There's enough. In my heart, I feel there's enough craziness going on in the world. Do we really need the drama and the hate and the ugliness of what goes on in the rescue community? You know, and I had to unfortunately take a step back from volunteering in facilities. I mean, there are a couple rescues. They know if they need anything to reach out. You know, I offered to help one of the rescues fix their cattery for, you know, their cats climbing posts and scratching posts. They just need to be, they don't need new ones. I'm like, why? You don't need a contractor to do all that. That's simple. Like, I even have all the staples and whatever else you need in order to do it. You know, just get me a roll of carpeting. I'll redo the whole entire thing. I do it with mine all the time. You know, but that's just this. It's just real sad that people, they come together for a moment and then their ego gets in the way, money gets in the way, and it's so sad. When they say money is the root of all evil, it really is. You know, rich people suing poor people, like, you're just a dirtbag. That's just such a low life move, but it just shows your character and how she really is a despicable person. Like, you're disgusting. You're getting off on suing poor people like you're gonna get anything. Stupid. Stupidity. It's just horrible. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why people are like that. But my new little foster boy is doing well. I let him out today. I always say we, meaning myself and my fur babies that are with me forever. Um, he came out, but he ran around a little bit, and one of my guys was just not feeling it, so he chased him, and then he chased him back into the bathroom. So I closed the door. I'll put up a little short video and some pictures of him on my community posts. Everybody could see Ollie, the new foster boy. And like I said, I just can't believe the community in out in Brooklyn, like, of all places, Brooklyn. You know, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Brooklyn." Let me tell you, that community came together. I've been getting deliveries every day. I got him Saturday night. I started getting deliveries literally Sunday morning for people donated, like, you know, bags of litter, canned cat food, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I think they're more appreciative of what I'm doing for him than anything else. You know, and sometimes people don't care. They see that, you know, people are struggling, and it's tough. It's hard to to get by right now. You know, everything in the world is so upside down. It's and discombobulated that it's just scary. But, you know, my main focus in my life has always been animals. I've always loved animals. I felt that I've always could connect to an animal more so than I could a person. And I guess that's why I'm always involved some way, somehow, in rescue and doing what I can do on my end. You know, and some people say maybe that's not much. Well, that's all I can do. You know, if I could take another foster, I can. You know. You know, I may not be able to donate hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, but I could donate my time, my patience, because I have a lot of patience. My cats were all feral. Every one of my cats came off the streets. So they were feral, some more so than others. Some took a very long time to get comfortable. Some of them didn't. Some of them shined right up right away. You know, so, but now everybody's kind of getting used to the new guy, and they're like, uh-oh, do we got trouble or not? But no, he's a sweetie pie. He's just very stressed. And he's been through a lot. You know, if you're going to be a foster, you have to accommodate for that foster. You can't just leave him in a room and forget about him and not feed him. This guy's he's eating very well. It took him a couple days to eat, but that's normal. That I've learned with my other cats when I first fostered one of them, and when I adopted a couple of my two boys, they didn't eat right away. You know what I mean? And it took a couple days before they did finally eat, which is honestly normal because they have to decompress. You don't know what happened, where they came from. You don't know what's going on with them. You know what I mean? And I always do play it on the safe side when it comes to a new one. I give a little lysine in the food, which is good. It's a immune booster. It helps their immune systems get adjusted. Things like that. So, but that's the way it is. I don't know. I don't understand why people just can't get it together. I don't understand it. Somebody suing people that just bought a $2 million home. Wow. Why do you need to sue the poor? What are you gaining? You ain't gaining anything. In fact, you're letting others see what your character is all about, and pretty sad. Because you're claiming you're losing, you lost, but again, you're gonna lose more, especially when people realize you're suing poor people. You really need to sue the poor when you just bought a $2 million home and sold another $1 million home? Like, come on now. Get your fucking priorities together. So, but yeah. Those are the things we're up against when we do animal rescue. People that think they know everything, don't know nothing. You try and help, and they think that they're on top of the world and they know how to do this and that, and they don't even know the proper protocol of quarantining and sanitization and cross-contamination. Like, you don't know these things, but you've been doing this for how long? Those are things you basically learn when you're first involved in, say, a facility, or things like you learn. You just pull up the ASPCA and read what they say, and just read all their stuff. Like, you'll learn it like that, and it's simple questions they ask you. What you learn from this. What's this? What's this? What's the proper protocol of using rescue spray? You spray it, you leave it for 5 minutes, and then you rinse it all off. And it's simple stuff. Real simple stuff that I don't get it. I think people just think it's easy to do. It's not easy. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to watch. The one facility I was in many years ago, going back about 11 years ago, when I was in a facility. And what went on in there was really bad. We had a couple puppies come in with parvo. Parvo is highly contagious. It's deadly, especially for a puppy. With that rescue, we ended up getting shut down. And when we got shut down, the first time, this is funny. Well, it's not funny. So there were approximately 250 animals, cats and dogs. And I had 72 hours to get them adopted. None of them were being euthanized just because they had nowhere to go. That was when I first met Christopher Arsenault. And we had approximately 100 cats. I was trying my hardest to get these cats adopted, even waiving adoption fees, where I was actually paying it out of my own pocket. Just so, some people came in, I don't have the money. All right, listen, I'll pay for it as long as you want to give this animal a good home. or you don't agree. Some people don't agree with paying an adoption fee, and I get it. I totally understand all that. It is what it is. And some people I seen, they showed me photos of their home, videos of their home, and I was just like, this cat's gonna be happy, you know. And I, of course, would tell them, the proper way to introduce them to your personal cat and ways to do it, keep them away from, your animals for the time being until they get acclimated. Let them smell each other through doorways, even if you have them in a room. Like me, I have my new foster boy in the bathroom, but he's very well content, very happy in there. He's having the time of his life in there, trust me. And believe you me, from where he came from, that's like paradise for the poor guy. So he's doing well. He's very sweet too for a feral cat that came from where he came from. He's very, very sweet. So I have a feeling he'll do well. While he's here with me, we'll get him acclimated to being around other cats with different types of attitudes. I have some who could, my one boy, my old man, he don't care. My little old girl, she don't care. And my one young girl, she's interested. She's more curious. Like, she sits at the door looking like, what are you up to? Who are you? That's pretty funny. But I don't want to disrupt him too much, but I'll go back in there in a little bit and we'll go see what he's up to. He's probably up to the same as he was, playing around, rolling around on the rug. He's having the time of his life right now. So, and I'm glad I was able to help him. And I'm so happy with the amount of people who actually donated. They donated like 60 pounds of cat litter for me, a couple of cases of very large cans of cat food, just to get him started, which is great. That helps me too. Of course my guys are like that. They just want to eat everybody's food, and that's okay. Everybody has plenty of food to eat around here. I make sure my cabinet is completely packed out. It's a little bit of a mess in there. Don't mind the mess. But I'm gonna show you my whole cabinet is like, closet is just packed for them. It's okay, babes. Let's see, we got all different types of foods in here. And then, of course, I'll be putting in my order. There's some cases, some others. This is food here. All this, litters, food. That's filled with food. And, everything they need. They're perfectly fine. I actually have to do my own order. In a couple of days, I'll put in my own order that I order tons of food for them. They always have everything they need. Food, toys, cat trees if I need them, replacement beds, things like that. I always make sure my guys and who, are safe. My feral colonies, I have the woman's property that it's actually on. She supplies the food for the most part, which is great. And I did put out a little things for certain places out here asking for some donations, because I know that places like Petco and PetSmart, when they have an expiration date on their foods, they just throw it away. So I did go in and ask a few places if they wouldn't mind donating. They gave me their number. I went there and I picked up a bunch of stuff with a friend of mine. And we have another place that delivers some stuff that they don't no longer need anymore for them. So the feral colony is always set with dry food, wet food, shelters. Shelters are very important, especially now. Like over the summer, I was going there a lot more often than normal. Usually I go twice a day. And because of the fact that it was so hot, I wanted to make sure they had cold water. So I would bring bags of ice. And some of what I would do with the water, not so much put the ice cubes in the water dish, because I know putting ice cubes in a dog's water dish is not good, because it can irritates their stomach, gives them a stomach ache. So I didn't put it in it. I would put it like around the bowl, and it would keep the water cold. Or I would just place the water bowls on top of it and keep it warm. And I have it on a platform. Like there's a big platform that I put all their little feeding station. So, well, it's not little, it's actually big. But that's how they get fed, and they're happy. So they're happy, they're healthy, they're all TNR'd. We have no kittens, thank the good Lord. Not that I don't like kittens, they're adorable, but you don't want to have a massive kitten problem. And as long as everybody's spayed and neutered, you won't have that problem any longer. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. So while I'm at it, let's go check on Ollie, see how my new foster boy is doing. See what he tore up in the bathroom. He's having the time of his life in that bathroom. He is just having himself a ball in there. Let's go see Ollie again. Let's see. Got him behind this little curtain. Where you at, Mr. Ollie boy? Where you at, bub? Where are you? See, the bathroom is extremely large, and there's nowhere. He's got a little couch. Of course, his carrier he came with, he keeps going in and out of. Oh, I know where he is. Silly cat. He trashed my bathroom. There he is. Hi, babe. Hi. Here he is. Say hi, Ollie. Come here, honey. Say hi. There you go. Say hi. It's so sweet. Come here. We're on a tripod right now. Let me lower this so you guys can see him. There he is. He's knocking this thing down. Let me give him the rest of these treats that are in here. Come here, buddy. You want some? You want the rest of these? They're making noise. That's what you want, huh? Come here, bub. You want the treats? There you go. Silly guy. There he is. He's happy now. He has his little treats. There you go. Crunchy crunchies. His little crunchies. We call them crunchies. There he is. Little foster boy. It's okay, babe. Oh, was I disturbing you? See, he's so sweet for a feral cat. He's very sweet. So, of course, we do a topical flea med on them. You know, things like that. Just to keep him safe. You know, you never know. He's fine, though. You gonna come up? Come on. Come on. What happened, babes? Come on, boy. He's roaming around. Come here, baby. All right. Oh, careful, babe. Come on. Come up here on the counter so we can see you. Come on, Bubby. No? Okay. No? All right. Come on. You want your toy? Yeah. Go get your mouse. No? He's having a bowl in here. Oh, let me close this. Not that he's messed with the toilet, but he knocked my garbage over. Oh, you little maniac. Go ahead. Aw, he's so sweet. He's rubbing on my leg. Yeah? You're going to be happy? Okay. All right. I'll leave you be, because you had a little bit of excitement today. Excuse me, Mr. Max. Come on, honey. Be nice. Come on, babe. My other guy is sitting at the door going, what's he doing? So we let him out. I let him out earlier, like I said, and he was, my orange boy was a little upset. So I had a little bit of intervene, but not much. It wasn't hair-raising. It was a little hair-raising, but nothing major, no hissing, no growling. It's just he's territorial. You know, cats are territorial by nature. And my orange boy, Ozzy, he's become very attached to me. So I kind of feel like he seems to be like, all right, now you got this new one in here, and what about me, you know? They get a little jealous. A little jealousy going on, but that's okay. He'll get over it. They'll eventually get through all that. They'll work it out. We had my handsome guy over here with my black Mancoon mix. He was having a little tough time with the one guy I adopted during the whole Happy Cat Sanctuary thing. I adopted a big, huge. This guy needed a home. He's huge. I just weighed him Friday, I believe it was, and he's 28.3 pounds, and he's very long. I want to do like a DNA on him, but I already know what that's gonna say. The area he came from, I did a bit of research, and there were definitely backyard breeders, breeder gone hoarder for Mancoons, and Norwegian forest cats. So those are very large breeds and also very expensive breeds. Sometimes what happens with the backyard breeders is they turn hoarder and then their homes turn into bedlam. So I have a feeling he's in those two mixtures, and he's a big boy, and he's young. He's only 3, so he still has some time to grow, and that'll, whatever. He can keep on growing. He's a very picky eater, and there's certain things that Mancoons like. They like when you scratch under their neck and their top of their heads. That's like a big major thing with a Mancoon. And yeah, so that's that. But yeah, so we're working on all these little issues and things going on, and just trying to help them out. They're all happy, though. They like boxes, which is hilarious. I could buy them the biggest tree and scratching posts, and they would rather be in the box. It's pretty funny. But, all right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to end this live. I'm going to continue going live, and I got to write down. I'm going to start writing down my experiences at the Happy Cat Sanctuary and start by going off of that, because I feel like it needs to be out there. It was a big major worldwide. Literally, it went viral when that happened, and the experience that I had were not so great. So thanks for coming in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you for coming in, and I'll see you in the next one.